Children, how dare you guys? You godless whores. You guys are...
Okay, so, again, who is the danger to children in this? It's the dude with the camera, the one who is filming children and screaming about godless whores and pedophiles. Like, you need to get the f*** out of that building.
I can't help but laugh, because he's a very entertaining guy in the way that he just calls them out like that.
I think the official term is direct action.
Yeah, direct action that he's taking.
That's what the left would call this.
Yeah.
No, I would call that the harassment of children and the endangerment of kids as well. I think that individual is sick and twisted. All right, this is called the right wing backlash to drag school, featuring our good friend Sargon of Akkad, who unfortunately has officially renounced having a debate with me. He hath refused, so that will not be happening. So I will probably just have to debate an empty chair, and I'll do my Sargon of Akkad impression, and I'll play him. It'll be like chess when you play against yourself, you know?
So the right-wingers have finally, well, done something, which is a huge backlash against the drag queen story hour.
Pats on the back, lads.
Drag queen story time, drag queen genitals out for Harambe time. I don't know. I mean, there's all these different kinds that we've seen prop up on Libs TikTok, if nowhere else. And I thought we'd go through some of the backlash that's happened and assess whether or not it's good or bad, I suppose. There's some moral debate around that.
Oh, is there?
So
no moral debate around drag queen story time. Some moral debate about objecting to drag queen
the
story
right-wing
time.
backlash. I don't know. There's a debate to be had.
Right, okay.
But we'll start off with a plug here being the Cultural Revolution that I did with Harry, because a lot of this is obviously relevant to the modern United States.
Cool. Let's go to the source, being us, our own website.
Huey Long, the Huey Long agenda for the 2020s.
Nessel, who was the first openly gay person elected to the statewide office in Michigan, made the comments during a civil rights conference while speaking out against what she describes as efforts to divide Americans.
By the way, I mean, if you're watching me, you're probably no stranger to how wholesome the drag queen story hour events actually are. They are very, very different from the ones that have been, promoted in mainstream media that are shown to be, dangerous to children. They're very, very wholesome. It's just typically a man who is dressed up with some pageantry in drag, and they read children's stories. That's it. That's the start and the end of it. There is absolutely nothing sexual about the whole thing in any way, shape, or form. They are not teaching them about sex, sexuality. They're just reading children's stories. It's ridiculous that this got made into a massive cultural war issue.
On the one hand, you have drag queens, and on the other hand, you have civil rights, and these mesh together perfectly.
Yeah, I also just hate how they endlessly talk about, don't you know the right-wingers are trying to divide Americans by saying that maybe kids shouldn't be interacting with grown adults with their genitals out for harassment.
Wait, okay, well, I guess you're adding that second part, because I was like, are you just looking to abolish schools entirely, or just any interactions whatsoever? Are parents allowed? Are parents allowed to interact with children?
What have they done?
Okay, so Andy No being the source here. A small group of protesters confronted drag queen and ex-Vice reporter Kyle Chu at a drag queen story hour event in San Lorenzo, California, near San Francisco. The drag queen is called a pedophile, and the parents are slammed for bringing their kids to the event. Unusual that Andy No is the one reporting on this, because as it's worded, if someone else had done this, I would obviously look at this, as I'm sure most people logically would, as this is horrifying for the children. Very, very bad for kids to have had this happen. Not the drag queen being present or the story being read, but terrorizing them with screams and stuff like that.
So a small group of protesters confronted drag queen and ex...
Want to know?
...called a pedophile, and the parents are slammed for
Oh,
bringing
I always forget British people pronounce it pedophile.
their kids to the event by the right-wing protesters. I suppose we'll play it and we'll just see what they did.
Who brought the pedophile?
First of all,
Hold on.
you have to wear masks.
No, thank you. Who brought the pedophile?
It's not optional.
We want to know.
You're required.
We want to know.
wear a mask.
Oh, we're medically exempt. Thank you, though.
Of course.
So you're required to wear a mask because there's kids and spreading disease is kind of fucked up. So put a mask on. It's like, medically exempt, brah. Okay. Gonna get back to my hate crimes.
Who brought the pedophile? I just want to know.
Story time is actually for children.
It's for,
Parents.
well, then why is the pedophile here?
So if you guys could
Why did you? No. We want to know why there's a pedophile here.
Now, I ask you this. What is more terrorizing to kids? The individual here who's going to be reading them children's stories, and that was going to be the end of the event, or the scary dude who comes in filming children, by the way, talking about how there's pedophiles present? Which one is going to be remembered by those kids as a scary moment that terrorized them?
We saw videos of what that thing does.
Yeah. Why did you? Hey,
It's got videos.
So you allow
talking about what it
pedophiles in
wants to do
here?
to little children.
Yeah.
You are.
Why did you allow the
It has videos
pedophiles?
on YouTube of what it wants to do to little children.
Why did you bring the pedophile?
I don't understand. I don't understand.
Children.
I feel so incredibly bad for the person who was about to read the stories. Like, that is so fucked up that you have to sit there staring at the eyes of very confused and frightened children while this absolute fucking scum of the earth asshole sits there filming all of you and calling them a pedophile. That's just like so fucked up in every way.
Get out of here, you pedophile! Get out of here! You're not safe here. Get out of here.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
What a fucking snowflake. Holy shit.
Disgusting. Look, no, this is sick. You are sick. You are sick. Look at these poor children.
It's all based on sexual.
These poor children.
Now, I know the two of them are sewing out right now. I saw Sargon laughing, and he's just like, oh, yes, no, this is wonderful. Finally, someone is standing up for the rights. And fucking look at this. British Caleb Maupin, just literally sewing in his pants.
Children. These poor.
You saw that this nearly happened in Victoria? Yeah, in Victoria, because this movement is international, by the way, this hate movement, people were calling in death threats. Straight up death threats.
Children. How dare you guys? You godless whores. You guys are.
Okay, so, again, who is the danger to children in this? It's the dude with the camera, the one who is filming children and screaming about godless whores and pedophiles. Like, you need to get the fuck out of that building.
Sick.
How does, like, Endino post this video and people respond to it by anything other than, like, holy shit, this person is terrorizing children?
I can't help but laugh because he's a very entertaining guy in the way that he just calls them out like that.
I think the official term is direct action.
Yeah, direct action that he's taking.
That's what the left would call this.
Yeah.
No, I would call that the harassment of children and the endangerment of kids as well. I think that individual is sick and twisted.
But okay,
in such enemy territory as well. Remember, this is in San Francisco.
So I haven't seen this, right? If there's anyone who doesn't live in San Francisco watching this, no one in Britain is wearing masks.
Zero.
No one. Like, literally 0 people in this country. You can walk around, you will see 0 masks. There is no medical reason to wear the mask anymore. It's not mandated by, like, the World Health Organization. It's not recommended by anyone.
Although I must interrupt and say, for some reason, YouTube requires us to say that it still can play a role in combating the virus.
But it can still play a role in combating the virus,
Or
apparently.
be shot. So,
But the point is, no one in Britain is wearing masks. And so this is quite clearly a virtue signal. And the fact that they're making the kids wear the masks just seems atrocious to me.
but it gives you such
Horrible
a picture, doesn't
Yeah.
it? And you're right to pick up on that because it's not just the fact that, well, this local place has decided to have drag queen story hour, in which they've invited an individual to come up and do this. And the big question is why, before we get to anything else. And then we have the fact that the kids are masked.
Yeah.
Parents are masked. I mean, this is the kind of place you would see where there would be a parents' evening where they would debate which number of Black Lives Matter flags and progress flags should they have in the classrooms. Not whether or not it's right to propagandize defenseless children, but how much should be acceptable in our department.
I can't help but notice that also it's a very feminine space.
Far from being post-pandemic, UK COVID cases are on the rise again. UK COVID-19 cases rose for the first time in 2 months in the week to June 2nd, according to new estimates from the Office of National Statistics. Total of nearly 1 million people tested positive for the virus this week, up from 953,900 a week earlier. It comes at a time when the Health Secretary, Sajid David Javid, has dubbed the country properly post-pandemic. The UK COVID-19 cases have been on rising for the first 2 months, according to new data. Kind of seems like it might be a time to wear some masks in public. The thing that really fucking gets me about the masks and like the right-wing backlash to mask wearing was just like, it really felt like collectively we came together as a society and we had scientists who were telling us, hey, by the way, we know some information about how we can reduce the spread of this novel coronavirus, and it's very analog. It's just a couple of things that we can do as a society. We should social distance in public spaces. You should wash your hands regularly, especially especially after being in public and touching other stuff, and you should wear a mask. And by doing that, we will actually slow the spread of the virus. And then it was shown to be an effective way of doing these things. And then after about a year, we were like, we're good. We're good on that. I don't want to do that anymore. And it's like, well, but by doing that, you realize that we will actually help the people who are most vulnerable, you know, people with disabilities, people with weakened immune systems, the elderly, frontline workers who are disproportionately going to be people of color, stuff like that. And we were just like, nah, I don't want to do that. Itchy. It's itchy and hard to breathe sometimes. You know, you can buy better masks. You can find masks that don't, no, I'm not going to do that either. Look, it's over. Okay, it's just, we did it. It's over. It's done.
The men are entering into. It's women and feminized men who are conducting drag queen story hour, and then it's
sounds based
embodiments of the patriarchy coming in and saying, no, this is wrong. You're a pedo.
Yeah, which I must say that I don't know if there's any evidence to suggest that individual has been involved,
I
so
don't
not
know.
defaming that individual.
But I mean, he's basically just saying it out loud right now. He's like, yeah, I mean, this stuff, it threatens our very way of life, I guess. I just don't want the idea of anything being contrary to the traditional binary of, you know, there's a man, the man has a penis, and there's a woman, and the woman has a vagina, and the man can use his penis to impregnate the woman. That is her only purpose in life. Also, if she manages to survive childbirth, then she can continue to cook and clean for the man. And that is basically how things should be. And we don't want any variations or aberrations of this. So the very idea of gender being a social construct, or there are people being who are maybe agender, non-binary, gender fluid, heaven forbid, or anything like that, or people who are not exactly the gender that they were assigned at birth, all of that starts to throw this whole idea into the fire. So I don't want to support any of that. And we have to uphold rigid patriarchal structures in the same way that we want to uphold rigid white supremacist structures, and that's basically what we'd like to do.
I am merely repeating the allegation that was made by the man to explain that this is very clearly a conflict of masculine and feminine values.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it in black and white there, and also the fact that it's
it's in living color.
It's hate crime is what it is. It's someone who has directly associated being queer with being a pedophile, and then wants to label someone who, and they have absolutely no evidence towards this, of being a pedophile simply because they are not what they would consider a traditional depiction of a man or woman to be.
A hostile environment. And like I'm getting at the point that this is probably one of the most extreme places in the West, frankly, San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
So the fact that it's like this is not really a surprise, but then you start to wonder whether or not you should write off these kind of places. But there's also the fact that Andy No mentions that the individual, Kyle there, a drag queen storytime performer.
By the way, they say this shit out loud. I just want to point this out to everybody. So Jangle says, imagine the absolute weakness a character would take to feel psychic damage from seeing this peck of a kiss. This is the one that everyone that, like, you know, fucking Ben Shapiro has said is the downfall of modern society and civilization. And I'm sure Sargon of Akkad is going to have like 3 videos on this. I'm guessing the Quartering probably has a video on this already. Here's the moment, everybody. I'm going to show it to you, okay? Brace yourselves. Brace yourselves. If you have children in the room, please take them out of the room, okay? This is highly sexual content I'm about to display. It's not even like a passionate kid. Have you seen The Lion King? Come on. It's got a whole song, a serenading song. Can you feel the love tonight? You get that weird look, and all of a sudden it's like, then a lick on the face, and then they roll around, and holy shit, that shit compared to this is like hardcore porn. So anyways, I responded with this, which, you know, I think you're getting a little bit more action in these and a little bit more tongue. Just gonna be totally frank. But then someone responds with this. The vast majority of children have seen their mom and dad kiss each other. Thus, seeing it in a movie is no big deal. Most kids don't have 2 moms, so seeing 2 women kiss raises questions. Basically, parents don't want to be forced to explain sex to their small children. Kissing isn't sex. I'm sorry to tell you that. I don't know if every time you've kissed you've been like, whew, oh, that was a little too much sexual intercourse for the day. We have to slow down. We'll save the next one for a couple months from now.
God, those
you know?
are amazing.
I cannot live without my dicks.
Now that That is highly charged. Hey, thank you, anarcho-communists, for the tier 2 subscription. I appreciate it. So then I just said typing out the gays weirded me out would have saved you some characters because, again, it's very blatantly put here. This is fine. Good and normal. Wholesome. Good entertainment. All right? It's not at all in any attempt to sexualize children. But this... Holy shit. Oh, right there. The sin has taken place. This little fucking peck. It's weird. Like, conservatives are simultaneously obsessed with sex and controlling people's sexuality and sex and all that kind of stuff, and at the same time are the biggest fucking snowflakes for this stuff. For like, oh god, no, take it away, take it away.
Says that he fears for his life. I think that's the right pronouns, or I'll be shot again.
Who knows?
Don't know. Double bullets. And if we go to the clip here, you can see that the parents are then shown a video by the men who have turned up, the men's men, who are like, hey, by the way, you don't know who this is, presumably, so watch this video. Do you have a guess what the video might contain? It's not...
I don't make any guesses about this.
It's not the most flattering thing. So if we go to the next one, we have the post-millennial who reported on this. I think Andy Poe wrote this as well. Drag queen who sings "All the kids who look up to me can suck my D" hosts story time at San Francisco area library.
Right. So I'm starting to think that the allegation of them being a pedo isn't ill-founded.
Well, there is a...
Oh my god. It's almost as if there is two different ways people act when they are doing performances for adults than when they are doing performances for children. It's kind of the exact thing that you would assume that I thought maybe you had put into question with all of this. Holy shit. Where are we at now? Yeah, the sheriffs have opened a hate crime investigation into the protests against the drag queen storytime event, as they should. This shit is so fucking scary. Having dudes show up with like t-shirts like this, like kill your local pedophile, screaming pedo. Again, this is the stuff that is actually terrorizing children.
So you have here, the sheriffs have opened a hate crime investigation into the protest event.
Good.
Of TikTok.
Has close ties to, yeah, Elon Musk reads the Babylon Bee, yeah.
That's the...
He does.
Wearing the uniform, you know, to identify themselves.
This person here says today 8 to 10 Proud Boys stormed the area. Again, Proud Boys, there's no evidence of that.
They weren't wearing Proud Boy. I mean, the Proud Boys have like a uniform, that black and gold trim shirt, right?
If you see a military personnel and they're not wearing their full military attire, do they cease to be a member of the military at that moment in time? Is that how that works? Did they somehow renounce their Proud Boy shit? Not to mention some of them were wearing Proud Boy shit on their shirts and the Proud Boy colors on their shirts.
So that's usually how they identify themselves.
It's a joke uniform.
Is it? I don't know.
The whole thing's a joke, isn't it?
Well, I suppose it probably is. But why weren't they wearing the uniform, you know, to identify themselves?
Presumably, this is the interesting thing. Why did the leftists say these guys are Proud Boys when there's no evidence? Well, the evidence is that...
They say a lot of things without evidence, Callum.
The evidence is that they're men, they're masculine, they oppose noncery, therefore must be members of the...
Noncery. I gotta admit, that is a fun word. Good job, Brits.
Far right.
Huh.
That is really how their thought process went, and then they just went, Proud Boys.
Proud Boys have really expanded their reach recently, haven't they?
Just, are you a man? You're a Proud Boy. Okay, Proud Boys.
Man who's not prepared to become a pedo enabler. Wow, look at that typical Proud Boy.
You ever seen Gavin McGuinness talk about the origins of the Proud Boys?
I probably have, but go on, remind me.
The funniest thing, the Proud Boy thing, it's like a song for some Disney song or something, apparently, they made up. Right. It was like, you're a proud boy, a loving proud boy, or some crap like that. Okay. Like, the initiation program is they punch you and you have to name 3 breakfast cereals.
5.
Like, the whole thing is just a meme that then, like, blew up. And then the police were like, well, these are neo-Nazis.
Designated hate group in Canada. Yeah, just gonna be clear on that. And even if it was 100% just a meme for the memes, for the lulz, if it expands into something that is becoming a global organization, then you do have to kind of take it seriously. It doesn't matter if the origin story was Gavin McInnes was just having himself a time.
And now, even if you're just a man with a beard, you're a Proud Boy.
Oh wait, if you don't have a beard, you're not a manly man?
I only went to...
This doesn't surprise me at all that obviously they're really pro-libs of TikTok. I mean, that just kind of, that tracks, you know? I mean, it's unfortunate that people that used to do some pretty, I would say, beneficial journalism, like Glenn Greenwald, have fully fallen into the culture war, right-wing and far-right camp for all this kind of shit. Pretty fucked up, though.
Do you enjoy the Serfs, but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Just, we are prepared to embark on a mighty jihad in your name. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your humble jester, attempting in vain to get you to laugh. To our valiant knights of the Round Table, Benji Arnie, Tech Tink, Scary Earthhuman, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Mayred, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood. It doesn't matter what I believe, it only matters what I can prove. Egbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Daniel Sutton, Coulter Smith, Jenna Tao, Quiet 185, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, The Tim Caucus, Multimondi, Trevbot, EXE, Brian Ephraim, Lemmy 101, Anthropophojak, Saren 42, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Incosin, Agent NDN, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Zach Christensen, Todd Buckingham, and Todd Lajeunesse. We raise our mugs and salute our brave heroes off to another glorious con.